Hi all. The digital campfire is cracking again. The glasses are full and the spirits are up. We're ready for a friendly gravel chat with friends. Welcome to episode 6 of Gravel Union Talks, an initiative of our platform, the Gravel Platform Online. So everybody, welcome at another Gravel Community session. My name is Carlo Van Nistelrooy. I'm the host of today. Behind the scenes, Ollie Townsend is pulling all the switches and doing all the things with the faders and everything. But our special guest, our very special COVID-19 isolation guest of tonight is Janosch Wintermantel. Herzlich willkommen here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
In the show. We'll talk on all kinds of gravelish subjects for 30-40 minutes. On the show, you can explain a little bit more later on about the situation that you're in. For the people at home, keep watching us, have a coffee or a beer or sparkling water at the side, and if you have any questions, you can email us info@gravelunion.c. The remarks below on the Facebook page. Janosch, let's start off with a few questions that we always have. What's the drink at hand? Are you having a beer? I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'll stick to water today, but hope you have a beer at hand.
I took an IPA. My flatmate is Scottish. Took a Scottish IPA. I think, yeah, that's always a good choice. I'm German, but nothing against the Scottish beer.
Okay, well, excellent. And what was the last song on the playlist for you today?
Today was Adicto. I'm quite into Spanish music. Yeah.
Adicto. Can't say I've ever heard about it, but my Latin Spanish music library is not that big. So, and is there any is there any book you're reading currently or on the list of to read?
Yeah, I mean, soon I will tell you more what kind of situation I'm in, but I got plenty of time to read books now. And yeah, my friends, they already promised me to bring me some books. The book, which should arrive in a few minutes, actually, in front of my house. I just forgot the name, but yeah, I have plenty to read. Didn't have a lot of time in the last time for reading.
But let's not keep people in suspense. Tell me a little bit more about your situation, because the whole setting is different than what we anticipated. But tell us about it.
My flatmate got tested positive yesterday for COVID-19. Yeah, I was planning to hold this interview from the office. Now I'm in quarantine for 10 days. I'm stuck at home. Yeah, and yeah, quite a big change. But yeah, let's see what the next 10 days brings at home. Quite different to normal when I love to go exploring on my gravel bike, but it's also a new experience.
Yeah, it'll keep you inside, and no. Our luck is that Gravel Union Talks is a live stream, so we're still on. So now we're also sure that you have plenty of time to talk to us. We have as always, a big debate question. The big debate question is a poll that you can give us use when on flared bars, standard straight bars. So standard bars. We're going to talk at the end of the Janosch also about his preference, because we don't want to interfere with the results. Let's move on to the one sentence answer questions, also a standard topic on Gravel Union Talks. What do you prefer, gravel riding, bike packing, or racing?
Bike packing.
Bike packing, you're an adventurer. What do you prefer? Do you ride alone or ride with friends?
It depends. I mean, a good company is always great, but I also don't mind going alone sometimes, and sometimes it's easier, especially if you're traveling.
Okay, I will talk about your adventures a little later on because we got some amazing pictures. What is the longest distance on a gravel bike you ever did?
It's not super long. It's around 250 kilometers.
250. Well, long enough.
I guess probably had some other guys that did longer rides. Yeah, 250. That was from Munich to Lago di Garda. Oh, actually, that would have been. It was the second stage from Innsbruck to Lago di Garda.
Okay, but that's a lot of altitude meters also.
Yeah, it's less than you would expect. I mean, you go over the Brenner Pass, but it's less than. Yeah, it's probably the easiest climb you can do in the Alps.
Okay, we'll see some pictures of the Alps as well later on.
Yeah.
What's your preferred wheel size?
For me, standard 28 is definitely the preferred wheel size.
And do you prefer electronic shifting or mechanical?
I'm lucky now that I can ride the electronic one, and I don't want to go back. Yeah, I think it's not needed. It's more of a comfort thing, but I'm definitely happy with the electronic one now.
I hear that more often. What is your preferred tire size? Or does it depend on what tracks you're riding?
Yeah, of course, it depends a bit where you're going to ride. I think like around 40 is always good. Like I don't like to get less than 40. Yeah, 40 for me is a good size.
40. You can always do something on a 40, right? If you do your rides, are you a guy that always plans your routes, or do you also have like, I go out and I see where I'll end up?
I'm definitely more the guy who just starts riding. Most times, even in other countries, I just use Google Maps, and I just start in the morning, and then I pick a village, a place, and say I go there today. I'm not the guy who's planning too much in advance. Of course, you check on the big picture which areas it kind of could be nice, but then I really decide on the go, because sometimes you realize, okay, it could be really nice over there or there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, of course, sometimes you miss out, but for me that works better. I feel more free if I don't plan too much.
Okay, go with the flow. What's the last time you cleaned your bike?
It's like 4 days ago, but it was cleaned so badly that people were telling me afterwards, like, you should clean your bike. Actually, I cleaned it when it was already dark. I'm not such a big bike cleaner. Yeah.
Well, I'm in your team. I'm also not a big bike cleaner, but you should clean your bikes now and again.
Yeah.
How many bikes do you own? So maybe you have a lot of bikes to clean.
Like bikes which are completely rideable, completely set up. I have around 5, but then also some like they're missing wheels and this and that. Like, or 2 of them are at my parents' place. Like, yeah, you can almost say 5 to 10 bikes. I have, yeah, at different places. Some are at my workplace, some here, some at my parents' place, and yeah, 5 of them I could just take and go riding, and 5 of them there are some parts missing. But yeah, probably I should sell something. But yeah, it's nice to have them as well.
You have more bikes than you have cars, because I heard that you never owned a car. Is that right?
I never owned a car, and I'm from the town where but yeah, I live in Switzerland, and in Switzerland it's amazing to go by bike. It's amazing to travel by train.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have a driving license, but it doesn't make sense for me to own a car. For me, it's a limitation. I feel more free taking the train in Switzerland. The amazing thing is I can take my bike on the train, which means, for example, on a Sunday, I just take the train somewhere, go riding, either ride home, or I take the train back again.
Oh, excellent.
And yeah.
Yeah, then why own a car? I can follow that. Back to the bikes. What is your favorite bike? I know that you've been building one. We'll have a picture later on.
Yeah, if I have to choose out of all those bikes, I definitely would take my Scott Addict Gravel. Yeah, the Gravel can do it all. I mean, I can do some mountain biking on it. I can do some road riding on it, and I can do some proper gravel riding on it. Yeah, that's the only bike which can do it all. Therefore, that would be definitely my first choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thanks for that introduction. Let's move on because you already told us you are originally from Germany. You live in Switzerland. You work for Scott. Maybe you can tell a bit about your cycling past, and we also have some pictures. So we'll have some pictures where you can. A gravel race picture. How did you start racing, or how did you start riding?
Actually, I started racing 11 years ago. At that time, Janosch winning the Tour de France, and there was a kind of a cycling boom in Germany. I started raced for 11 years, Germany, but also all over Europe. But then it was tough for Germans to get a pro contract. And then I just decided to focus on my studies, to enjoy my student life. And I also don't really race again, apart from like 1-2 fun events per year. And for example, this one you see here, it's a gravel race in Bern. I took part last year. I was take part again. Yeah, it's on Sunday, and I have to qualify, which means unfortunately I have to wait another year to be at the start line.
But you were to have to pass that one.
Yeah.
Is it so that you're really, or is it just you go out there and you race and you see whatever happens, or what kind of a racer are you?
I'm not such a, which means I just like to enjoy riding and hard. And in this case, I mean, it's in Bern, which means I checked out the course, just Ironman World Championship, as I had to go there for work. I had completely okay, I can do better than 10th or whatever I was last year, which means I had still the goal to be somehow top 5. Not the result wasn't really my main motivation.
Okay, but still, it's a pity that you have to miss out.
Yeah. I mean, definitely one of the best living here. This is in to Col de Croix. 2 years Birdie McBird, it's Australia, and yeah, it's 5 years amazing boots you haven't even thought about. Yeah, this one I found 2 years ago, and yeah, it's definitely everywhere you go.
Switzerland, your favorite place to ride the gravel bike, or?
I would say also we had to carry 500 altimeter per day. People would we went, and still it was amazing. Parts to have a bike, and yeah, I think that's really technical. It's still with whatever 170. I like the challenge. Of course, slow with getting. Yeah, for me, also in Switzerland, the gravel is the best bike.
Oh, this is I think a post-race picture.
Yeah, that is Nova Heroica. That's already 2 years ago. Yeah, convinced me to take part, and I had zero expectations. Thought I was that in really good shape, and then to mix it up with some ex-pros, and yeah. And it was definitely a moment where I thought, like, okay, I should at least do 1 or 2 races per year again. Because before I didn't want to get back to this racing, because I feel like you lose something simply riding.
Mm-hmm.
And is to this joy of also taking having experience as a goal than the result.
But you finished second, so you did extremely well.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. I was out there the concept of the race was that you had segments where you had to go full gas.
Yeah.
And most of the day I was out with these two guys, and it's Christian Meyer, probably most people now, who was still a professional until 2 years ago and winning Vuelta stages. It's good to see to be up there with them, and to have some fun and have some beers then afterwards.
Yeah. The former pros is being a trainee. So this is one of your.
That was just I've never spent so many years in the saddle than on this trip. Something I spend every day 7 hours in the when I was racing, just riding in a circuit at home. But here it was, every day. It was every day.
Yeah.
Also, because you can start most of the really big famous climbs and there, and then we did a big loop in Club. We went which means and we came back from in 550 pretty definitely something I want to redo.
I think this is also from that trip.
Exactly, that's the same. Never. I don't know if you have the photo with the wall and so on. It's surprising in the area. Out and see.
Well, this is a different.
It was another big. Yeah, I have to. Unfortunately, I had a crash on my gravel the week before, and then I just decided to bike. G1 40mm tires on there, and I started riding, bumped into an Italian also on the same way on the first meter, and just in 4 days, and pretty cool trip.
Is it, if you can, well, what was your best trip ever? If you have to.
I mean, of hills of Tuscany to America, that's it's so different that I can't decide. Of course, like on the long term, probably a 3-month trip stays longer in your memory. You meet more, you see more. Yeah. Trip, I have to say, like where I feel like that wasn't cool or that I didn't enjoy it. Of course, you always have really tough every trip. That's the beauty about the bicycle.
Adventurously looking picture.
In August, I did there was people would perhaps think it's somewhere in Bolivia. Yeah, it's just in Graubünden in Switzerland.
And you did this?
This, like most I do with friends, and then the long one I had now 2 or 3 months in South America. Bump in for a couple of days, and then you part ways. And this photo, yeah, it's a bit of a different story. Plenty of friends, they're super not, and someday since COVID-19 to cyclists, and in this case 3 of my friends who had nothing to do with cycling, like one of them he didn't even have asked me together, and then from Bern to Lugano, which is 400 kilometers, and non to see they were seeing them. It was completely different, not the speed I was used to. It was a really beautiful experience.
And you took cyclists?
Yeah. I like to drink beers also quite a lot. Not like at every weekend I want to go on a bike trip, but it was more even them saying like, hey, let's do it next. Oh, to go in my speed and in your speed. They're all I'll be the last one of them, and probably not the last one of us together.
Okay. Also, you can learn people, you know, that people can appreciate. Bike? Is this your favorite bike?
Thanks. Electronic. The first, which means not edit. Decided time finally years and of the also but it's now pretty more and classical.
It looks great and indeed of COVID-19. This should
this is to that's a question years ago. Document him with even the people were looking at me like, what? Didn't understand why this road bike had so big tires. I was like riding with like of decent cyclists, like groups of like, look, that's useless. I mean, why? You know? Normal.
Mm.
Now it was quite impressive. Just say but the change was impressive. Before, they have never seen a sun dash double bikes, and it's months. I experience it myself so much when it comes to my work or the bike industry, as in this case.
Yeah, it's really catching on. So, well, also in Latin America, which is nice. We'll talk about your connection. Let's also remind people of our big debate question of today. So people let us know what's your favorite bars for riding on gravel trails. Is it the flat bars, the standard bars? Please let us know what you think. Later on with Janosch, and we'll hear his view on things. We talked about your passion for cycling and your passion for doing bike trips, not being a training beast, but more of an enjoyer of cycling in general. You ended up working in the cycling industry. Tell us a little bit more about that. You work for Scott. What's the job title, which is also might sound very interesting, but more importantly, what are you doing for Scott?
I take care of the road triathlon and gravel marketing, which means I work at the headquarters. Many people don't know that Scott actually is now for more than 20 years a Swiss brand. Originally it is from the United States. But yeah, we are based here in Switzerland. I take care everything what comes to global marketing of those bikes, which means product launches and media relationships, social media, content production, and then a lot is also the communication to and about the professionals. There's, for example, like that's why I know Esteban Chavez and many of the other professionals. And yeah, that's my job. That brought me to Switzerland. Actually, before I worked for Scott, which is now already for almost 4 years, I had a similar job at BMC, which means directly from the university. I joined the bike industry. During my studies, I already worked for Pinarello. I worked at the Giro d'Italia a bit. I worked for a cycling magazine, which means I don't even know the professional, the work life outside of the bike industry. Let's see what the future brings, but to compare passion and work, it's quite a cool thing.
Yeah, it sounds great, because you travel a lot normally. You know, we know you're in isolation right now, but you'll travel the world to. I know you were in the Tour de France a while back. You're obviously not in the Giro at this point, but you travel the world, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky that also work allows me to travel to nice places. I mean, to some of the big races. Definitely every year, at least once to the Tour de France. This year was a bit different, but also I was there this year. And then, every year in Hawaii for the Ironman World Championship is quite special. I had the chance, for example, to ride up the highest mountain in the world. It starts 6,000 meters underneath the sea level. Therefore, everyone knows that Mount Everest is the tallest. But if you count everything together, it's Mauna Kea. And for cyclists, it's 4,200 meters to climb up, which is definitely one of the most unique experiences I had, going from sea level to 4.2. And a lot of nice photo shootings in beautiful areas. And yeah, that's definitely a really nice part about my job.
It sounds very, very cool. You're at Scott now. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the history of Scott, especially Scott's history with gravel bikes, and where you're at now, with looking over your shoulders to the past? How did you get there?
Yeah. Scott to start is now 62 years old, the brand. It started with the first ski pole, which means we're coming from skiing, then goggles. And then around 30 years ago, we started with bicycles. First mountain bikes, then road bikes. We became famous for having the first frame under 1 kilogram, then the first frame set under 1 kilogram, which means there was a lot about lightweight. And then we had cyclocross bikes. And then, when the gravel boom came, we were not the first one. We didn't start the whole gravel boom. It's now around 6-7 years ago. We saw that's becoming a big market. We went into it. And now with the Addict Gravel, I think we have a bike which is one of the fastest out there. It's a bike which is made for racing. It's light, it's stiff, it's fast. It probably has not the same amount of features as some other bikes. Let's see what the next Scott gravel bike goes. If it goes more into the bikepacking direction, more features, or we build up again more of a racing machine. But at the moment, we are definitely more focused on a fast bike where you can also mix it up easily between road and gravel without having almost no disadvantage on the road. As you can see, for example, here with Esteban Chavez, I was riding on a gravel bike with gravel tires, and we did 200 kilometers that day, and he was at the bike on his Addict RC, the bike he uses it to the France.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no problems to keep up with him, and that's not just because I'm fit, it's also because I had almost no disadvantage being on this bike. And even myself, I was surprised that, on such a ride, you barely need a road bike if you're not really competing. Those bikes, they're so fast, the tires actually get so fast these days. And what we see now here, do we already see it?
We'll have a look at the video with Esteban a little later, Janosch. This is the bike. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this bike.
Yeah, that is our Speedster. That is our alloy version. It is a pretty cool bike for entry alloy bike. It is also quite light in this segment. It's not the one which has the most features for Addict. But it has everything you need. It has the same geometry as the Addict, apart from that the headset is 1 centimeter higher. Here also jumps with the GX Schwalbe tires. I think especially for bikepacking, I would perhaps even prefer this one. Alloy foam is still less of a risk that something happens. Dream bike on going on a bike.
That's also the bike that we have on our competition right now. People can win this bike at the Gravel Union. So if you take out the free membership, and then you can win this bike. Well, not this bike, but this kind of a bike, because it goes with GRX group set. Is this the choice for GRX on the bike? You also ride with GRX, maybe?
I have GX now. I have 2 bikes now actually set up with GX. For me, there's no other group set. I mean, I know I'm here. You guys are sponsored by Shimano. You're Shimano, but honestly, I can say nothing negative about it. On this 5-day trip you recently saw me riding before, I had 0 problems, nothing. And my friend having another group set has major problems the whole time. And we tested it to the limit, and it worked perfectly until the end.
And if you develop your bikes at Scott, do you have a specific target audience in mind? Is it because you're just mentioning we might do a little bit more towards bike packing? Is there a fixed group of people that you have in mind designing a gravel bike, or is it a more general audience?
let's say it like this. We see it as, in general, for gravel riding, there are three different groups. There's the racer, then there's more like the adventure bikepacking guy, and then there's perhaps just a guy who commutes, to work on a Sunday and so on. Then you decide which is your target group, where you see the most potential. In the past, we went for a bike which is definitely great for racing. It's great for commuting, where you have a lot of mix of tarmac and gravel perhaps. And it works also great with bikepacking, but perhaps you can't put stuff on the bike as nicely as perhaps some of the other bikes. There will be a new gravel bike coming at one point from Scott. I'm not allowed to tell you exactly the direction we're going.
That's a pity.
But yeah, it will be still light, it will be still fast. If it goes more in the bikepacking direction, who knows? Let's see.
Okay.
You guys will find out one day.
We'll wait, but it's obvious that you as a brand foresee the growth of the whole gravel community continuing.
Absolutely. I believe that one day graveling will be almost bigger than normal road racing or road cycling, because it is almost a road bike, but you can also go further. You can go, where there is for a road bike, you can go there. The whole safety thing, which has got a huge problem for roads, it's way better being away from traffic. Now the gravel coming to countries like South America or continents like South America, countries like Italy or Spain, which took them longer to accept this because it was so performance driven. Mm-hmm. They realize now these bikes are still fast, and if I know I just ride the whole day on tarmac, I still can change the tires, and it's a road bike, you can say. Therefore, I don't see a reason why the gravel bike shouldn't be more popular one day than a normal road bike.
Okay, so you see a big future for gravel in a broader sense.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have a look, Ollie, at the video that you made, because that's one of the perks of your job, is that you travel the world, as we know, but you can also do great things and shoot this video. This is in Colombia.
This is in Eque Cafetero in Colombia. It's a coffee region, super beautiful, has a bit of similarity with the Tuscany. I mean, here it doesn't look like with the high mountains. But yeah, it's an amazing area to ride your bike, and that I had the opportunity to go riding there with Davito. Was a super cool experience.
This video is of 2019?
This we released in 2019, exactly. This now is like a 3-minute video, Esteban presenting one of his favorite loops in Colombia. It's a series I started a few years ago called The Escape. There's always people recommending a famous loop. You can, you have an article, a story. You can have the Garmin file to redo it. And in this case, it's Esteban Chavez showing us one of his favorite loops. But part of it was also a 25 minutes documentary about him, about his life, especially off the bike as well, or let's say away from racing. And yeah, it got a pretty unique piece. If you want to check it out, type in Behind the Smile Esteban Chavez in Google, and you will be inspired by this little guy.
It looks amazing. And this is also where you were with your gravel bike. Esteban riding his pro race bike, obviously. And,
I was riding on a gravel as it comes from Scott, G1 Schwalbe tires, and he was on his Adidas C. I was actually food poisoned on that day. That's why you see me now with helm and sunglasses. I was so pale that they said, like, please keep your sunglasses on. But until I was running out of food, or I still had good legs and it worked. But yeah, it was funny. I couldn't eat anything on this day of the shooting. But that's part of the experience, traveling to those countries. you're not used to the bacteria as they are, and that happens.
But you went there for a longer period of time, or just to shoot?
No, I was lucky with the whole documentary. It was like 1 week for work, and then I could spend another 3 weeks on vacation there, and then I came back last winter, and I spent almost 10 weeks. I cycled from Nicaragua to Costa Rica, Panama, took the boat to Colombia, spent again Christmas with the Chavez family, and did a different loop through Colombia, and was back in time when the season really kicked off in Europe and before Corona started.
Before Corona started, we all look forward.
One of the reasons why Scott also allowed me this, when I quit my job at BMC, I started traveling. My goal was to travel for 1 year from the United States to Patagonia on my gravel bike. And then they reached out to me via headhunter, convinced me to come back, which means I just had 3 months to travel. I crossed Mexico, went to Guatemala, and then I had to fly home. And now I could do kind of...
make up for it a bit.
Yeah, now I'm halfway, you can say. And I need another 6 months probably to do the rest.
Oh, the negotiations with Scott already started. I hope to listen in. Guys at Scott, please allow Janosch to have another 6 months to finish his trip all the way to Patagonia, which is amazing. By the way, it sounds like a real adventure. I think that we'll go back to the results of. I don't know whether we have the results in. So it's the gravel. So 50% says flat bars, and 50% says standard bars for both. So that's a 50. I don't know exactly how many people voted. Tell me a little bit about your preference, Janosch. What do you prefer, flat bars over standard bars, or the other way around?
I prefer the standard bar, and that's for a reason. First of all, the benefit of a flare bar for me is you have more space for your handlebar back. That is definitely great when you're traveling, but on a group ride, I feel it's slightly more dangerous. If you have a lot of flare, you have this point like on a mountain bike. And I can share a story with you guys. When I did this documentary with Esteban Chavez, I was riding with him. We were leading a group of 6-7 people. And he's so much shorter than me that his handlebar fitted exactly underneath my handlebar. Okay. Because of the strong flare of my handlebar, it was like, at one point he got attached with his hoods and he crashed quite badly. It was just, we are both used to ride next to each other and bump handlebars next to each other. And in this case, we were just unlucky that his handlebar fitted underneath mine, and we definitely believed this wouldn't have happened with a standard bar, because you have more like of a side wall almost, because this curve creates like... And of course, this for 99% of the people won't happen. You're not riding that close with professionals and you're used to this. But it is a slight risk that in a group ride, if you bump against each other with a flare bar, you can be unlucky. I was lucky that I didn't go down, but I feel even more sorry for him to go down. Yeah. You can see it also in the documentary.
So there's also
a different handling feeling. It is perhaps slightly better, but I can't really feel a difference. I'm so comfortable on my standard bar. I see the point with more space for the back, but you're definitely also fine with the standard bar. And
okay, it's good to hear your preference, and also that it's in some circumstances it can be dangerous, but limited in limited opportunities. Well, I think looking at the clock, well, we're at 3/4 of an hour already. So let's round off. Maybe you have something, Janos. This is your last chance that you want to come back to. We've discussed all kinds of things. Is there something that you want to elaborate on a little bit, or are you happy with the story you told us? The stories.
I mean, I could talk about travel for days, but
oh, you have to now because you're in quarantine for another 10. But we're not gonna.
Yeah, but it makes it also harder not to ride your gravel bike if you talk about it the whole time.
That seems to be the difficult thing. Yeah, everybody's looking forward to the post-COVID-19 period.
Yeah, even I have to say, we were lucky in March, April, as in Switzerland, you were allowed to go outside to enjoy the nature, which means actually it was an amazing time to go riding, to go gravel riding, because you couldn't do something else. And we had an amazing April weather-wise, and we were lucky there. I mean, compared to our friends in Spain and France or other places in the world. And in Switzerland, you even enjoyed the outdoors more than ever before. And let's hope we never go in complete lockdown. And after this 10 days, I'm out again and out exploring.
I hope everything turns out just fine for you, and also with the test of the COVID-19 and everything. But we'll manage. Thank you very, very much, Janosch, for sharing your stories with us. It's been great looking at all the adventures that you have been doing. Also great to have a little bit more of insight of the Scots world of gravel. Again, people, if you want to join us and you can win the Scots Speedster bike for, I think the survey and the prizes are open until the end of October. So join in there. Thanks also to Ollie in Newcastle for getting all the pictures in at the right point, and of course all the viewers on Facebook and YouTube later on. Thanks for checking us out. We will be back next month with another edition of Gravel Union Talks. I'm not sure who's going to be our next guest, but Ollie and I will figure that one out. Again, thank you very, very much, Janosch, and take care. Hang in there. Stay safe.
Thanks for having me.
And well, enjoy your books for another 10 days. And we'll stay in touch. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot.
To everybody, bye-bye.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
Okay, stay safe. Cheers.